I was really over the moon to actually have work, and as I say, it made me feel like I could hold my head a little higher, because up until that point, I really wasn't sure if I was cut out for the TV or film industry, and whether I actually would have a future. And that was a moment of feeling like, I do have something to bring. However, then once filming it, I had a similar feeling that I had on almost all of the acting work that I did, which was a strange sense of unfulfillment. And I didn't quite know what that meant at the time. I found it quite hard to put my finger on it. It took me quite a few years of doing a number of different sort of acting roles to start to work out that wasn't actually what I wanted to do. It would give me a sense of accomplishment to have gotten a role or to have gotten an opportunity, but once actually doing it, I found the process of acting on screen not what I thought it would be, and it wasn't what I'd felt on stage, and it was much more something that you had to kind of just show up, do your bit, and then leave, and you weren't really involved in the way that I thought you would be. It was a kids' show, so it was sort of, brought with it lots of kids' show things, but it also, dealt with things like, abortion and, quite heavy sort of relationship issues and life and death, and so it actually did tackle things that you could kind of get your teeth into, and I really enjoyed that. That was where I first met Tom Hern, who was also a young actor who'd just been cast in that. So for the two of us, it was sort of, I think, a moment where we felt like we could take a little bit more pride in what we were doing and actually really go for it. It was kind of like a noir sort of thriller along the lines of maybe something slightly Coen-esque, or I don't know. But and then I had the really foolish idea that I would act in it, and the role that I played was a guy who gets we think he's been mistakenly picked out at a bar as someone who raped this girl, and she brings in this heavy, points me out and says he's the one. So this guy basically knocks me out, takes me back. They tie me up in this garage basement, and then the rest of the film is working out, is she lying or am I lying, because I'm vehemently arguing my innocence. But all the while I'm getting beaten, and fake blood dripping down, and I'm tied to a chair. And it was the most ridiculous way to try and shoot something, because in between takes, so I'd do a take where I'm strapped to this chair and screaming and no, she's lying, and then call cut, and the camera guy would have to come over and put headphones on me and hold the camera in front of me, and I'd sort of watch the take while I'm strapped there and be like, no, okay, I think we need to go for another, and it was torture. And I literally then, I was only back for a short period, and I had to jump on a plane back to LA, so I regretted immensely, doing that. It just ended up being the worst idea. But I was actually really proud of the film, and really happy with the way it came out, and it gave me another opportunity to edit and see through something that I'd written, directed, and then edited, and learn more about the way that works. And then ultimately, when me and Tom were discussing Harry Jenson and the possibility of making that, he'd seen Foul Play, and he really liked it, and I think it was one of the things that gave him confidence that, I would hopefully be able to, do something good with Harry as well. Harry Jenson was the first time for me or for Tom of making a full-length film. We didn't really know what we were getting in for. I think if we had known, we might have thought twice at the beginning about whether we wanted to do it much. I think when we first started off, we thought we'd only need about 30 grand to make it, which was extremely naive. And then, although films are getting made for that amount these days, but so we, kind of went on this quest to find anyone that we thought might have enough money to want to invest in a film and might be interested in doing something like that. and that was a journey, you know. I mean, it was, and particularly as well because the budget kept increasing, you know. So I think in the end it did sort of, it peaked at about 175, I think was our end budget. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I actually thoroughly enjoyed shooting Harry Jenson. It was a wonderful crew, great cast. It was a really real kind of community feeling because everyone was doing it for next to nothing. They were all doing us a favour, but they all knew how much this meant to us. And it was like their film as well. I mean, that was the thing that was really important, was that it felt, everyone that was involved felt like they weren't working for us, we were working together. This is everyone's film. And so it just became this amazing experience in that way. It was tough, it was extremely hard. The weather was brutal. We got, you know, rained on constantly. We got flooded at one point. There was a river that, you know, when we crossed it, you know, there was like a road, then this little stream essentially that we crossed easily, and we were shooting on the other side. And then while we're shooting, it starts raining and raining and raining and raining and pouring and pouring and pouring. Before you know it, this little stream has turned into this raging torrent of a river, and we can't cross back. So everyone is stuck on that side of the river, getting drenched. One of the actresses in it was like shaking from being so cold. She also, you know, had death makeup on because her character's dead, but I forgot that in that moment and thought that I'd given one of the actresses hypothermia from keeping on shooting. And so I'm literally having a moment of thinking I've killed, you know, I'm going to kill one of my actors on the first film I ever make. I worked on the script for probably about 3 years, and it was challenging because I hadn't worked from real life before in that way. The previous film I'd made, I'd, you know, just sort of made up, and now I'm dealing with characters that are real people that will hopefully see the film at some point, and I would really want them to be proud of it. But in saying that, I also have to manage getting the drama out of the story, and so that was quite a balance to get the drama out of the story whilst making sure that these guys would really be able to enjoy that, and for me to be respectful to their story and to those people. We got lucky, I think, with the level of talent that we actually found. You know, someone like Wayne, it's hard to believe that he actually exists. I mean, we found him in a Wynn's office looking for work, and instead he ends up landing this lead role opposite Cliff for the first time, you know, ever acting, and he's incredible, absolutely incredible. And then Cliff, you know, for me it was really important for Cliff to put on the weight and to method act the role, and those both were things that Cliff was really unsure about initially. And, you know, fair enough, because that's not easy stuff to do. And he'd never method acted before. It wasn't something that, you know, felt like, you know, it came with a lot of challenges and unknowns. But, you know, he threw himself into it in, you know, full commitment. And I think, you know, the results are there on the screen.